Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Veil background information. This time we're doing a culture video and we're going to be talking about the veil hierarchy because, of course, last month I traded that in for talking about talisman. A bit of a habit of mine. Anyway, we're going to talk basically there's a picture in this which I will do the image that you have in this video, or as a preview image, I've uploaded separately on Patreon because it is more of a diagram than it is a picture, and it sort of covers most of what's in here. But we'll basically be discussing this image because it sets out the basic hierarchy. Still, it'll be working just like any other audio file video. With I'll give you a quote to do with the hierarchy, and then I'll just explain it to you. Anyway, let's get on. In the old days, the vampires held enough power that their word was law, standing the closest to the demons, and yet civilized enough to control them. The vampires were made to rule the veil that was designed for the true children of Samael. But, these days, there's this insistence on equality, and it's rather disgusting to think that something as low down the chain as a spider might wish to have a position in a local government. I'm glad the purists understand our value. It's a quote from the Crooked Serpent, which hopefully will be out this December. Within the veil, there's an old idea of hierarchy as in the ranking of each species and what they deserved. Consider it a form of classism and racism, but by species and arranged purely by the closest one was to humanity, heaven and hell. Though outside of the veil this only exists between humans, within the veil everything revolves around the reason for the veil's creation, the children of Samael and Lilith. As Lilith was human until Samael paired with her, her human attributes, the ability to hold a soul and get into heaven or the soul cycle, was passed into her children. Though many other species were created from the mingling of other demons with the creatures and the primitive humans, as well as the children of Lilith and Samael, their children the Lilitu, were the ancestors of the sexual demons, and more importantly the vampires. For having a direct line to an angel of death, the creator of the veil that kept them all safe from the great flood, the vampires took the initial claim that they should rule all. Of course, it never came to fruition immediately. Generally, for many thousands of years, the various different beings of the veil developed, separating from the demonic nature into the different species that even preyed on the humans within their land, or aided them and the natural world. A balance between good, evil, and the everyday, as it was often termed, was developed, with beings working their ways into various civilizations until something rather awkward happened. Christ. Though debatable within the veil whether this being was truly the Son of God and not a seemingly super angel, which many believe within the veil, but outside it was a well-known form of heresy. When the Vampire King entered the veil after collecting blood during the crucifixion, the vampires took their new rules to mean they had a chance of domination. It seemed whatever the being was within the blood was something that meant they could touch holy water. They could step in sacred ground, but previously they could not. With this, the threat of the vampires seemed to grow, and through spreading the knowledge of Christianity within the veil and claiming their own heritage of this regal blood, the veil was soon finding itself good in a hierarchy underneath the power of the vampires. Within the course of the development of the veil agents, the battle between the werewolves and the increase in humans born to shapeshift families, and to the mixing of species within the veil, the hierarchy was destroyed. The only thing of it that remained was the noble circle of the vampires and their money. The various veils separating out and removing their links to the vampire nobility and any form of classism created through species and whatnot were also reasons for it to collapse. However, before this, and still somewhat within the veil, the hierarchy still tends to exist within a far more basic sense at least. This hierarchy meant that being closer to the demonic nature was of a higher rank and held more power in the veil than something linked to the angelic or with humans. Humans generally hold a place in the middle of the hierarchy, mainly because outside of the veil they are the top, and so they are the big neutral or grey area within the veil. The highest section of power is being a demon. Whether in hell or not, they hold power outside the rules of the veil agents because they are feared. Beneath this are the demonic-powered beings that include reformer demons, lust demons, and vampires. Reformer demons give up the majority of their powers to try and be helpful, meaning that they almost move into the grey or green area with humans, and yet for always being demons they hold high rank. Lust demons may hold high rank due to their relation to Samael, but their ability requiring sexual contact, which is considered low within the veil, means that they permanently sit with another grey area that fits various sexual orientated species, including tempter species like Yuki Onna, that are all pulled into the category of sex demons. The vampire therefore hold the highest rank for being the closest to the demons, following them are the night predators. These beings are the beings previously discussed as referred to as the night predators, all save the shapeshifters and werewolves, which hold different ranks. Then we have the Jinn. the children of the fallen angels alongside the Peri. The Jinn are beings linked to fire and who use their abilities to manipulate mankind and their desires, linking them more to the demonic nature. However, they have remained contained servants to humanity or nature, and so are not considered in the same kind of rank as something like a vampire. After this comes humans and werewolves. As werewolves are considered cursed humans, they are the closest to the dark natures of humanity, but at the same time have the ability to go to heaven if they live a good life, which affects their ranking. Shapeshifters are counted as human. They are the majority of life within the Vale, so they are left in this same green area, although some are pointed out as being in the night predators category because of the species they turn into. Beneath these are the She, or the Fae, or fairies, and the Hexen, witches and wizards, who are deemed closer to humans and yet at the same time of a lighter nature. This is because of their links to the elementals and looking after the health of the planet, not to mention how they do not seek out humans for sustenance. Beneath them are the beings referred to as elementals. This includes nymphs, elves, and various other light members of the Vale universe, such as unicorns, pegasus, fawn, satyr, and centaur, who are not predatory but take care of nature in order to live. These beings are considered the opposite of the night predators, and as such are further down the rank, and have suffered greatly as slaves, pets, and even meals for the night predators. Beneath them are the Peri, the daughters of the fallen angels, that have a permanent desire to protect the humans in hope of getting linked back to heaven. Then the Saviours, former angels who have lost their wings before, of course, the denizens of heaven. So there is the hierarchy within the Vale, and though the Vale would like you to think that it certainly has abandoned this system, the vampires still hold power, but there's far more equality with every other being. But of course, the vampires themselves would point out how the younger generation are taking more generic jobs to be more normal, and how turned vampires are closest to the human position. But it's just to try and make them less elite. But as you read through the course of some of the stories, you'll see how everything has changed, and yet it hasn't, unfortunately, just like outside of the Vale. Thank you. Bye.